WTL, Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klessen, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
Now we're going to get back into a little NCAA football, some CFB. And let's just rip off the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Let's just get right into it. We're going to talk Nebraska Cornhuskers taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Big noon kickoff on Fox. It treated us so well last week. We're like, give us another one.
Give us another one. We don't care.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? And it's exactly what you thought it would be. Nebraska is a 25.5-point underdog to Ohio State, who's, by the way, coming off a bye, coming off a loss, a 1-point loss to Oregon.
Yeah.
On the road.
Yeah, Oregon, which is, 3 in the nation?
They're ranked number 1 in the nation.
Ranked number 1 in the
some
nation?
rankings, they're ranked number 1.
Yeah. No, this is absolutely insane, Andy. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, like you're alluding to, have really fallen off since their monster win over the Colorado Buffaloes, just getting smoked by Indiana last week. In recent memory, that is the worst thing that I've watched in a long time, Andy. Just were flat, unmotivated, couldn't score, couldn't move the ball. Even when we did, we'd fumble, all that kind of stuff. Special teams looked absolutely terrible.
I mean, even my middle school coach, Pop Warner, would have been like, why did you catch the ball on the first kickoff and then step out of bounds at the 1?
Exactly. Just set us up for success.
Do you think they know that, like the special teams players for Nebraska, do they know the rule that if it goes out of bounds, it's actually a penalty?
Yeah, and we get it at the 45 or 40 or whatever it is.
Do you think these guys know that stuff? Or
I think that they've been told it. He definitely has now. But in this one, Andy, Nebraska just does not have the offensive horses that we thought we did, and we definitely don't have the offensive horses to keep up with Ohio State.
Really?
This is the only thing that I can say for the Nebraska Cornhuskers right now is this is a potential look-ahead spot for Ohio State with a Penn State game on deck. But the Buckeyes are 8-3-1 against the spread in their last 12 games as a double-digit favorite. Assuming the Buckeyes don't get caught looking ahead, I think this is a huge blowout win for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I'm thinking Ohio State covers this, unfortunately.
25.5. If this got to over 4 touchdowns, if this was at 28.5, I might be able to tell you to bet on Nebraska. I do not believe that can happen.
I just think that Ohio State coming off that bye week,
they're pissed.
Exactly right. And I think they're a big boy program. They might not be looking at Nebraska, but they've been spoon-fed film from Nebraska all week long because they have a real coaching staff over there. And look at these scores: 35-7 against Iowa, 38-7 Michigan
State.
Defense. Yeah, it really is. 56-0 to Western Michigan. I know that's Western Michigan and everything else, but Western Michigan type players, isn't that what James Madison? In that world, all of Indiana players. Will Howard for all his nots and have-nots. I think he's going to come out on fire because he's ticked off with the way that second might have got stolen from Ohio State out there.
No doubt.
14 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, 1,500 yards, right there with Dylan Raiola, but a lot more touchdowns and a few less interceptions.
No doubt.
Everything for me points towards Ohio State here. You can make the case that, Ohio State might be looking ahead and maybe Nebraska could catch them off guard or bounce back. I don't see any of that. And I won't believe any of that until I see it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going off of, what I've seen the last couple of years here.
Yeah.
Last 25 years for Ohio State, last 15, 20 years for Nebraska.
Especially in a big moment. Like we said, this is arguably a bigger game than last week, against an undefeated team, and we didn't get up for that. Are we going to get up for number 4 Ohio State any better than what we did against Indiana? I don't believe that's possible. I do believe Ohio State covers this, but the best bet of the game, Andy, is the over.
The over?
Over 48.5. Oh. They are going to drop a 50 burger on us.
You think?
They are. They exposed us so bad, Indiana, what they can do to us offensively, and Ohio State has all the weapons to do so.
Man, the only case I can make to agree with you is that our defense just looks so bad.
It looks
so bad
absolutely.
But that was the first time they looked that bad.
But first time that they played a team like that.
Sure.
And not only is Ohio State better than Indiana, they are much better than Indiana.
I thought you were going to make a case for the under there.
No, definitely not. It is the over all the way. Ohio State puts a 50 burger.
Oh, man.
And the only thing I can do for Nebraska, if you are a Husker fan and you're still bleeding the red and you still think we got a chance, the money line is at plus 1,800 right now. You can get rich quick.
There you go.
If you're betting on Nebraska and the miracle of the century happens, you
Hey.
can still throw a little bit of cash on that.
Vandy beat Alabama, right?
Yep.
Now, they were only a 23.5 point favorite. I looked it up.
Exactly.
So Nebraska's a
It's
underdog.
more improbable than that game.
All righty, we beat up the Huskers enough here, and we do like Bucky. All right, another 11 a.m. kickoff over on ABC. This is a really cool game.
Fun.
Notre Dame is heading on over to Navy to take on the midshipmen. Navy is 6-0.
6-0, baby.
They are ranked. Notre Dame's 6-1. This game, everyone's saying it's going to be a lot closer than you think. However, Notre Dame is still your 13-point favorite. The line really hasn't moved that much since it opened.
Andy, the first thing I'm going to say here is that Notre Dame is definitely capable of blowing the doors off this Navy team.
Okay.
With its below average defensive, in terms of yards allowed, Navy is down there in those regards.
Mm-hmm.
However, Navy has earned the right to deserve the benefit of the doubt as it's undefeated, like you said, and has covered 7 of its last 10 games.
Yeah.
The Navy midshipmen are also 12-4-1 against the spread in their last 17 games as double-digit underdogs. This team plays up to competition.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is better, more balanced team, but Navy is I just think they're just having a really good season, along with Army right now, and the offense is too explosive to leave this sort of number on the table. Give me the points. Give me Navy to cover.
I like that, and this has a sneaky playoff implications.
No
to
doubt about it.
I mean, everyone wants to focus on Notre Dame, but no, Navy sitting there waiting in the wings, right?
No doubt about it.
This got expanded to 12 teams. They're right there, and this is the type of win where if they can pull this off, they're kind of in.
They're kind of in. That Army-Navy game comes down to which one of them is going to the college football playoff. No, it's going to be awesome. I love this game. I don't like Notre Dame, obviously. Historically, they're kind of like the Lakers, the Yankees, something like that.
Right.
But no, I love Navy. It's better when they're good. And, this could happen. This could be upset alert for Notre Dame.
So you like those 13 points. I think that's a good bet. This is a pretty big total, 51.5, and Navy has been scoring a lot of points.
A lot of points
this year.
No, they have an explosive offense, Andy, so I would not bet the under, but I don't
51.5.
I do not like the over either. I'm kind of going to sidestep this one because I don't know how Notre Dame's going to come out against this team. Yeah,
I mean, and ESPN analytics are giving Notre Dame a 91% chance to win this game. But they're a 2-score favorite here, right? You're just saying Navy can cover that.
I think
That's all
Navy
we're saying.
can cover it.
Okay. Yep. All right. Well, let's move on to an afternoon game. A couple of Big Ten teams here. The Illini, the Fighting Illini of Illinois, heading on out to Oregon, where Big Ten teams go to die.
Yeah.
The number 1 ranked Ducks are 7-0, coming off a huge win a couple weeks ago, right at Ohio State, and then they beat the Bricks off of Purdue, 35-0. Not only did they put up 7 touchdowns, they also pitched a shutout.
Yeah. Absolutely.
5 touchdowns, excuse me.
Absolutely insane, Andy. And this is kind of what we were alluding to talking about Nebraska. This is our good loss. This is our good loss to this team, this Illinois team. They're still 20th in the nation, and I know that they beat Michigan as an underdog, but they were still outgained by Michigan offensively, and they still do not have a passing game at all. Mm-hmm. Illinois does not have a passing game. Yeah. I think Oregon State Oregon. Sorry, I'm thinking state on my. But we'll win this game comfortably. This is a lot of points to lay with a ranked
21.5
with a ranked opponent coming in.
It's getting bet down.
I think you have to take Illinois in this spot, don't you, Andy? It's a ranked team by over 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I get that it's Oregon. I get this is the number 1 team in the nation, but this is kind of when you as a football team start feeling pretty good about yourself.
Illinois keeps it close regardless. They only lost by 14 points. Yeah, 14 points to Penn State.
And they're going to slow this game down, like I said, running the football. Oregon, they are number one in the nation for a reason. I just don't believe that I can feel good laying 3 touchdowns on them.
Yeah, Altmaier's too good of a quarterback. We saw that firsthand.
Yeah.
Especially in the fourth quarter. 15 touchdowns, 1 interception. He takes care of the ball. Like you're talking about limiting factors as far as letting Oregon get out and run. They really control the ball well. They got a smart guy at quarterback. Yeah, I love that only 1 interception on the season. I love seeing that. Right?
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, Oregon wins this by 2 touchdowns. I just don't think they're going to have to push the envelope to keep going. So I think Illinois is the pick.
Illinois scored 50 points in that Purdue win a couple weeks ago, so we know they can score. That's why this total is at 54.5. Not just because it's Oregon.
Yeah.
Illinois kind of showed some offense this year. I'd already talked about Altmaier.
Yeah.
Do you like that over, or do you think that's too many points?
No, I think you have to kind of do it because there's multiple ways they
didn't hit the over last week.
Yeah, but I think there's just multiple ways to it. Oregon can blow the doors off this team and still get to that total, I think. But the more likely scenario is this is kind of a back and forth game and it skies over it. So I do believe the over is the play in this game. Yeah,
I mean it does kind of have a feel of like 30-20 type of a game, and then that puts you right there around 50. So I can see that. Oregon's really been a little bit. I feel like they've been a little bit more disciplined this year, and when they weren't just beating the doors off of everybody early on, they kind of lost some of that shine, some of that shimmer. But boy, have they got it back. Knocking off Ohio State, that'll kind of do that for you. So
huge win.
All right, I'm going to sidestep that. It's way too many points for me, but I can see the logic there. I can see how the path. It does.
They can
do
make
sense.
Yep, and Illinois can score as well. So I like that over.
All righty, you heard the horn. That means we're up against it, but let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure, whether it's hunting, fishing, or hiking. They got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com to get your wild game on. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
Yes, sir. And we're going to keep it right here, right now. We're going to stay with college football.
Oh, yeah.
We got picks, parlays, all the fun stuff, right?
Of course.
You're saving your parlay till the very end.
For the very end. Make you wait for it, folks.
Get that teaser out there. I like that. All right, but we're a heavy dose of the SEC here.
Of course.
Which they just keep consuming more and more teams, and good teams at that. Can't take that from them. So we're going to start with an ABC 2:30 kickoff. Hats off to ESPN and ABC. We never say that enough. We always dog on these guys.
For sure.
But they stole that contract away from CBS. Might have been the blunder of network television.
Yeah, really bad for them. Real bad look.
And then last week, they had 2 games, back-to-back games that had over 10 million viewers.
Crazy.
I mean,
insane. Just great,
the
great
Georgia
games.
game early, and then the Alabama-Tennessee game.
Absolutely insane to have that many people watching college football back-to-back. Now, it's usually just one game a weekend will get that kind of viewership or even close to that.
Yeah.
And then, just have 2 back-to-back is absolutely insane.
So, way to go. So, we're going back to ABC for another SEC matchup. The 21st ranked Missouri Tigers are heading down to Tuscaloosa to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Still kind of licking their wounds here. Ranked 15th in the nation. Coming off a loss to Tennessee. Great game, big game, fun game.
Yeah.
24-17 was the loss. I think people are still thinking of a couple weeks ago when they lost to Vanderbilt.
No doubt.
Right?
A team that we're going to talk about in a little bit here as well, Andy. Just in general, I think Missouri is going to keep this game close, Andy. Like you said, Alabama has lost 2 of its last 3 games, and I just don't think they've looked great. I mean, I know that we're susceptible of thinking about them with Saban and all that kind of stuff, never losing a game, never being a dog in a game, but Missouri's defense has given up just 15 points per game, and they're going to step up here in a big way. Alabama is averaging 38 points per game, but their offense is going to really struggle to get any positive momentum going on here. I'm back in Missouri against the spread.
Yeah, last time I was big on Missouri was the Texas A&M game.
Yeah.
And boy, was I wrong about that.
We were wrong.
That big time. It is a curious deal here because even that sandwich game there, South Carolina, they had their chances to knock off Alabama. Had them on the ropes. Only a 2-point victory for Alabama. So, yes.
They just haven't looked great.
It does feel like it's changed. It's different there.
And over 2 touchdowns, Andy, I just believe... it's almost a 17. If you want to wait and get it to 17, it's 16.5 right now. If you want to get it to 17, if you feel better at that, I just don't believe Alabama's 3 scores better than Missouri.
I could definitely buy that because I'm seeing them 16.5 consensus.
Yeah,
this line opened up at a square 14. Public didn't like that. Bet up Alabama.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of that is kind of what I'm thinking. Last time I put money on Missouri, boy, did they disappoint.
They frauds? Yeah,
yes,
kind of fraudish.
And we still think of Alabama as Alabama, which that might not be the case.
That might not be the case, Andy. I think they're a lot closer to a Missouri team than they are Georgia, who they beat. But it's just insane what the SEC has done this year so far. Just everybody playing up and playing down. It's pretty crazy. That's why I think Missouri has a very good chance of keeping this one close, maybe even sneaking out a little bit of a upset.
Hey, it wouldn't be out of the possibilities. We've seen it before, right?
Plus 440 money line.
51.5. This total is getting bet down. It actually opened up at 56.5, and it's been down to 51.5. I don't know. I guess I get that, but both of these offense have really shined throughout the season.
Yeah, it's just that they think Missouri's defense is pretty dang good, which it is.
Yeah.
And they're thinking Alabama's kind of in a rut right now, not going to score a lot of points. That's why it's getting bet down, and I tend to agree, but it's getting to that threshold, Andy, that I'm going to sidestep it. If I would have got it at 56 or 57, wherever it started. Under.
Yep.
Right now, it's probably where it needs to be, and I'm going to sidestep it.
All righty. Should we move on?
Let's do it.
Okay. The afternoon 3:15 kickoff on the SEC Network.
Ooh.
The 5th-ranked Texas Longhorns are heading to take on the Commodores, the Vanderbilt Commodores team we just talked about. Hey, they're 5-2.
Let's go.
2-1 in the conference.
Yep.
But the odds makers don't want to hear it. They are 18.5-point dogs.
Hey, I
Texas.
don't care what the odds makers say. Vanderbilt is 4-0 against the spread this season as an underdog, and 3 of those covers were outright wins, Andy.
Yes, sir.
Vanderbilt has covered 5 straight games as an underdog overall. Vanderbilt has covered 5 straight games as a double-digit underdog. In that playmaker, Pavea, their quarterback, is a playmaker who has the Commodores oozing with confidence. Give me the points.
Ooh.
Obviously, Texas is a way more athletic team, but this is too many points. This Vandy team is going to come in with a lot of confidence in. This might be upset alert for Texas as well.
You know, they did have a nice little tune-up game last week against Ball State, but they only won by 10 points.
Of course.
I think what a lot of people point to is that Georgia State loss early in the season.
No doubt.
Vanderbilt lost to Georgia State.
They lost to Georgia State.
But then they bounced back, right? They beat Alabama a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
Man, that is a lot of points, though. And it does feel like you're just buying the brand there. You're believing in the brand.
Diego Pavea, the playmaker, quarterback, he's coming into his own. I think they keep this game close, Andy. Texas will win. I just don't believe by 19 points.
Okay, what about that total at 52.5?
Yeah, I think both these teams are going to score some points. So, yes,
I'm over.
I'm over 53.
You know, both of these offenses do look pretty darn good. Ewers is back. Ewers is going to get the nod here. And even if
Arch plays, I'm still on the over.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. Arch arguably has better numbers. So,
no doubt.
You know, we've heard it all. All righty.
Give me the points.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty I think that's kind of right. I like that. Vanderbilt, the Commodores to cover. Going over.
Yeah.
All righty, let's head on over to the nightcap here. 6:30 kickoff once again on ABC.
Yeah.
SEC matchup. The number 8 LSU Tigers are heading down to Aggieville to take on Texas A&M. A&M is 6-1, 4-0 in the conference. LSU 6-1. And both of these teams, opening weekend losses.
Yeah.
But they've been cooking.
Bouncing back.
Since that time. Both undefeated in the conference. That's going to change.
Yep.
A&M, I think they lost to Notre Dame week 1. LSU lost to USC. Boy, that win doesn't...
just must not have been right.
I guess.
But no, the main glaring thing that I'm looking at, Andy, is Texas A&M Aggies have failed to cover 8 of the last 10 games.
This is only a 2.5
It's only
point.
2.5.
2.5 point favorite is the Aggies.
Yeah, they're only 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games as a home favorite. So much for the 12th man. However, we're not getting enough points
Shots
here.
fired.
We're not getting enough points to pull the trigger on LSU, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm on Texas A&M. I'd simply need more points to go on for the other side.
Yeah.
Give me Texas A&M for a big conference win in a rare cover.
Yeah. At home, and they're still winning, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking about covers. They're still winning at home. They're still winning on the road.
Yeah. It's usually that they're a 10.5 point favorite.
So if it hits
or
3,
17.
Is 3 your threshold? Is that hook your threshold?
If I can get LSU plus 3.5,
3.5.
I would look
Okay,
at it.
3.5.
But I still probably like Texas A&M by a touchdown at home, Andy.
This is it has that toss-up game type of feel to it.
Yeah.
But A&M is at home, like you mentioned, and I think Notre Dame's a better loss than USC.
Yeah, no doubt.
If we're using that as a measuring stick, who have you played? But that was a long time ago. I get it.
They're both different teams by now, Andy. But the thing that I really look at this is I trust the Aggies defense just a little bit more. And Kyle Field often makes a difference for Texas A&M. I know I was making fun of the 12th man and all that kind of stuff. It does make a huge part in this game, Andy. And the QB is finally starting to play what people expected to see this season. I like Texas A&M, especially at 2.5.
Wigman, LSU Triggerman, still has upside down 3 touchdowns to 4 interception ratio, but a lot more touchdowns lately than those interceptions.
Yep.
Nussmeier, he's awesome for LSU.
Yeah.
He is awesome. He is, as advertised, one of the few guys out there that has over 2,000 yards already on the season. So is that leading you towards that 53.5 over?
Yeah, I think the over is definitely the play. I know I sound like a broken record saying all these SEC are going to be on the over.
This is prime time.
They score a lot of points. LSU is going to push Texas A&M to score points. So, yes, I believe this goes over, and then I trust the Aggies defense a little bit to get that late takeaway to win this game.
Yeah, and LSU's played an overtime game, so that they're not they don't mind playing a little extra, getting some more points on the board there. That might be a sneaky way to if you do take A&M and they don't cover the points, well, then you can come back with the over, thinking that it's going to be a shootout.
I do believe it's going to be a little bit of a shootout. I love the over in this game for sure, Andy.
All right, and 3.5 is your threshold. You need to get the 3.5 right now. This line hasn't moved at all.
No,
it opened at 2.5. Oddsmakers got it exactly right.
They're at home. They're both 6-1. It'd be very hard for it to move at all, just because you can't get a feel for it either way. You just think that Texas A&M should be favored at home by under a field goal.
Money's going on both sides here, so
of course.
Again, the oddsmakers got it just right.
Yep.
Aggies with a slight nod here, and ESPN Analytics, their matchup predictor, is giving the Aggies a 52.7% chance.
Sense. Yeah, that's where it should be. That's where it should be. Going to be a great game. I can't wait for this one Saturday night, Andy.
Another big ratings for ESPN Plus and ABC. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
You got the
rich get richer.
Yes, they do. All righty, well, we're up against it, but let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. World class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.